Hi, it's Rachel again. Today I just want to talk a bit about friendship and betrayal. To start out, I just want to play a little bit of a video from jw.org. It's one of their whiteboard animations and it's called What is a True Friend? And it really is quite a delightful little video. But for someone who was abandoned by all their friends as a witness, it's a little bit upsetting for me and quite annoying. So I'll just play the first 2-3 minutes of this video for you to listen to and see what it says about what a true friend is.
What's a real friend? Someone who brings out the best in you. Someone who's always there for you, even when times are tough. Proverbs 18:24 says that they can even stick closer than a brother. Now that's a real friend. Friends like that are hard to find. And if you worry too much about being liked by everyone, you just may settle for less. So what should you look for? Well, don't judge a book by its cover. Look for what's on the inside. Look for a friend you can trust. A friend who forgives. Someone who doesn't hold your mistakes against you. When it comes to friends, one good friend is better than 100 fake ones. To find a real friend, you may have to look outside your comfort zone. They may be where you least expect. So be open-minded, branch out. Don't just settle for a clone of yourself. Potential friends could have hobbies or talents that you don't have. They could be older or younger. They could be of a different background or culture. So don't limit yourself. But remember, real friends need to have good standards. Have you ever had a friend who took advantage of you? Or talked behind your back? Or spread lies about you? You deserve better than that. So watch out for toxic friends. Toxic friends care only about what they can get out of you. They tear you down because of the way you talk, the way you look, or even for your beliefs. Real friends aren't like that. They let you be yourself. So you need to choose smart friends. Not just book smart, but smart in life. They are the kind that stand for something, and they show it. Proverbs 27:17 says that true friends learn from each other. Just as iron sharpens iron. They even make you a better person. So how do you get a friend like that? You can't always expect people to reach out to you.
Okay, so that's the gist of it. It does go on for a couple more minutes about how you can also be a good friend. But yeah, some of the points that I want to bring out from that is that he says that a true friend is someone who is always there for you even when times are tough, who won't hold your mistakes against you. Then he asked, have you ever had a friend who's lied about you or talked behind your back? You know, obviously they are not good friends. And a true friend is someone who would like you to be yourself. Now, I have a problem with this because in the organisation, it's often not possible to be your true self. For example, you know, if times are tough, perhaps you might be having some doubts about the organisation. Will your friends stand by you then? That's not my experience. Well, I've mentioned it in a previous video, but at a convention I was at, and I was talking with a sister, a friend, and I mentioned that I didn't know if this was God's organisation or not. Did she stick around to ask me why? Why would I say such a thing? No, she literally ran away from me. And I realised I'd upset her and phoned her up that evening and apologised for if what I said upset her. And she went on to tell me that I was something wrong in the head and that did I have a brain tumour and this kind of thing. And I never spoke to her again. So, so much for that friendship. Also, at that time, because of what the realisation I'd come to about the organisation not being Jehovah's organisation, and because of that reaction I got from her, which I saw as being quite culty, really, very unreasonable, I decided that I wasn't going to go to the meetings for a while, at least. So here I was, I'd regularly been at the meetings every week with my daughter, and I would sit in the back room because of my chronic head problem and my intolerance of the bright lights. So I, usually be out the back there. So some people might have forgotten about me, but there were a couple of sisters who regularly would check up on me and ask how I was and that, so that was nice. But anyway, once I stopped going to the meetings, I didn't hear from anyone for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. It was like almost 3 months passed before somebody phoned me and asked how I was. And then I explained to her that I wasn't coming to the meetings on purpose because there were some issues I had, and she hung up on me. And I never heard from her again either. There's one other instance where it was probably before this time, but still several weeks after I wasn't at the meetings, and a sister texted me and wanted to come around and visit, and she had come around previously 2 or 3 times to visit, which was nice, before all this happened. And I was in a bit of a sorry for myself mood, and I said, "You better not come round." And she asked why, and I said, "According to the organisation, I'm an apostate." Which, of course, I didn't think I was an apostate, but according to what I'd read in the literature, I was, because I was questioning the governing body. So she texted me back and said, "Thank you for telling me that. I hope you come back one day." And that was it. Never heard from her again. Which I was absolutely stunned. I thought, I was really expecting her to text back and say, "Oh, don't be silly, you're not an apostate. What on earth would make you say that?" And ask me why I said that, but no. So it's amazing how quickly those you thought knew you will just turn their back on you and reject you. It's really weird when it happens to you. Also, what happened in those early weeks when I wasn't attending meetings, I wrote a letter to the governing body about their change in the faithful and discreet slave understanding, and I also questioned them whether it was right on their part, I suppose, to judge all of Christendom, which they say were weeds, from 1914 on. So there was a little bit of criticism in that letter. I also thanked them for the change. Anyway, I knew that in doing this, I was sort of, I suppose, going against the organisation somewhat, and I didn't know how quickly the wheels turned as far as disfellowshipping someone. So I actually gave copies of this letter to 2 of my closest friends that I thought, well, they know me. They know I wouldn't I wouldn't write this letter and say this without good reason, because they know me. One of them said earlier had said that I was like one of the most discerning sisters in the congregation, and I actually helped nurse her mother through the last months of her life while she was dying from cancer, and she had dementia. And the other one, I stood by her while her husband was carrying on with another sister, and he wasn't a witness. And you know, she went through a divorce and everything, and it affected her very badly, and I stood by her, and I thought these sisters knew me. But it's very sad how, you know, they didn't seek. Well, the first one didn't seek really to find out what was going on with me. She, according to someone else I spoke to, she actually told people that I was an apostate. And I'd sent her another letter to explain myself, and apparently she ripped it up and didn't read it, according to this other person, so I don't know if that's true. But I was very, very quickly abandoned, despite being known as a kind and loving, reasonable, well-studied sister in the congregation. And that's really hurtful. Really hurtful. It's really hard to believe that it happened. The second sister, to her credit, actually did come and visit me, and we spoke a couple of times about, you know, where I was coming from. But she didn't agree with me, of course. But at least she made an effort to try and find out what was going on with me. And we parted in tears and hugging, and I told her that I had always considered her as my best friend, and she said the same, even though we had, in the past few years, we had drifted apart somewhat because she went to a different congregation and stuff. But yeah, and that was shortly before my disfellowshipping. And now, of course, she just thinks I'm like Satan incarnate, and it's just quite incredible. So that video, you just can't have that kind of friendship in the Kingdom Hall. There was another point that was brought out there, when looking for a friend, don't look for a clone of yourself. But the reality is that you have to have clones of yourself to have a friend in the congregation. You all have to be thinking exactly the same. You can't be having doubts or questioning the organisation or the governing body. If you do, you'll find your friends evaporate pretty quickly. So it really was quite laughable. And it brought out there too that you want to find a friend that likes you for yourself, but you know, you can't really be yourself, really. If you're yourself, you'll tend to get judged, because you've got to fit the mould, you've got to be the clone. Some like to use the term Borg from Star Trek. You have to be in with the hive mind, otherwise you're on the outside. So I dearly wish that I could have those friends back again. I really do. I still care for them a lot, and I know their minds have been twisted by this organisation's teachings, and it affects their ability to have affection, to, you know, let's face it, they're not living in the real world, they're in a kind of a bubble. So my hope is that one day those friends will come back to me and say, oh, we're sorry what we did to you, and I would welcome their friendship back, I really would. Okay, I'll just leave it there. Bye.